Bytes, and it's just me today. The last couple of shows we have had some special guests, which has been really good fun, but today it is just me. And what I want to talk about today is some fairly specific digital marketing talk. And one of the first things we do when we bring on a new client is perform a digital marketing audit. And I just want to go through today kind of the process involved there and what it is we're trying to do when we audit the sort of digital footprint of a business. And the first thing we do is really get to grips with the background of the company, obviously, and find out where you're kind of currently sitting as a business. And we sort of break that down really into what are your goals? What is it you're trying to do from a digital marketing perspective? What are you wanting from this process? So without that, it's really hard to build out any form of strategy. So number one is goals. We also look at the target audience, obviously, because without knowing who we're trying to attract and engage with, it makes it very hard too. So these are kind of two of the main initial elements we will look at when we start a digital audit. And then from a more technical perspective, we usually start with the website. And we do this because I know websites, people kind of say that websites probably aren't as important as they used to be, but we don't believe that at Meta Creative. We think the website is usually the first port of call somebody will have, or a new client or a new audience member will have with your business. They'll find you organically or check you out through Google, through searching for you, and that is usually one of the first interactions you will have. So that is one of our starting points when we do a digital audit, is to look at your website. And to break that down, we really look from a technical perspective, first off, at how the website is set up. What content management system you're using, the page speed, is it mobile responsive, search engine optimization setup. And we always try and, obviously, we've built out who your target audience is. So we put ourselves in the shoes of the target audience and we look at how your site will interact with that person when they land on it. Are the users going to be finding things that they want? That's really, really important to be talking directly to your target audience on your website and making it as easy as possible for them to get what they want. That could just be interacting with your content, so reading your blogs or listening to one of your podcasts, or is there a form that you want them to fill out? Do you want them to join a mailing list, or do you want them to book an appointment? Do you want them just to call you? If that's the case, let's make sure that the phone number is available very, very easily. So these are the sort of things we look at initially, because from the sort of holistic digital marketing viewpoint, we don't really want to start pushing any more traffic or pushing anybody towards the website, or getting people sort of hitting your website without having that set up correctly. And that could be adding a Facebook pixel, could be, changing the language, changing the imagery, changing the user interface. We also look at Google Analytics. We want to make sure that we've got a little bit of history in regards to what people have been doing with your website. And, certain businesses will not have anything kind of set up, so there's a little bit of work to do there. Some businesses will be quite advanced in what they have already, but we just need to tweak it to get it ready to get an audience looking at it, or to get more click-throughs. So we really don't go far ahead with any sort of major digital marketing strategy unless the website is kind of ready to go, because that is really like your kind of shop front, is your first port of call for most people when they interact with your business online. And then obviously from there we look at the bigger picture. We look at the different social platforms that you'll have set up, if you have them set up. And the three primary ones for us are Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, but it obviously depends on your business, what it is you actually do as a business and who your target audience is as to where you should be online. But they're kind of like the three main ones that we tend to look at and tend to work with clients. And from there, we really just look at your profile setup, the branding connection between your social media platforms and your website, and just your general brand sort of in general, making sure there's a consistency in visuals and consistency in language. And then obviously from a technical perspective, we make sure that the pages are working correctly, all the links are correct, and people are able to, like, all the contact details, that's one thing, are consistent across every platform, because you don't want to be confusing the audience by having different contact details on various platforms. Just make sure everything is consistent, so there's that real holistic approach. So you look at everything from afar and make sure there's a deep consistency in what you're doing across the whole of the digital space. Then we'll have a look at the analytics from your various platforms. Most of your social media platforms will have a back end where you can go in and check out the current sort of engagement rates that you have on your site. What are people clicking on? What are people liking? How many likes are you getting? With Instagram especially, you want to make sure that you're on the business profile, so you've got it connected to your Facebook page. So you just want to make sure all that stuff's kind of set up, and there's a little bit of history there, because analytics are key to seeing what is currently happening. Obviously, then moving forward is key to make sure that we're monitoring that and seeing what sort of activity is happening on the site when we're starting to do some, say, paid advertising or landing pages or anything that we're sort of starting to put some money and strategy into. We want to make sure that everything is set up from an analytical point of view as well. So that's really the kind of main points that we would do on a digital audit initially. So we find out a little bit about your business. We look at the website, make sure that is functioning correctly. Look at your digital platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and maybe the blog on your website or anywhere you're putting out content, and just make sure the consistency is there, the speed from a technical point of view is there on all these platforms, and the analytics are in place. So we want to make sure that we're measuring activity. So that's kind of like what we would do initially, and from there we build out a strategy to move forward to hit the specific goals that we've worked out that you're looking at for the business. And then we implement, we build out the platforms, build out the website, get it to a position that we're happy with, and then press the button on maybe some paid advertising through Facebook or Instagram, or building some content on LinkedIn, or doing a podcast, or building out lots of different ideas depending on who it is you're looking to target. And yeah, that's it. We kind of go from there. That was a sort of brief overview of what we do from a digital marketing audit, but it gives you a bit of an idea of all the different bits involved and what we're kind of looking at initially, and what we will be sort of working through to get to a point where you're happy and we're happy to kind of move forward into implementing strategy. So hopefully that was useful, and more than welcome to hit us up online at metacreative.com.au if you want to ask any questions. Happy to help at any stage. Cheers and thank you. Bye.